Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the British EuroRAP Results Launch 2021. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Tony Chiboro. I'm a Director and Trustee of the Parliamentary Advisory Council for Transport Safety, PACTS. And I'm also pleased to say, as of last Friday, I'm now the Chairman of PACTS. It's good to see that we've got some 230 people registered for this event and a large contingent from abroad. So it's truly an international affair. And I'm certain now that many of you will be familiar with online events, and I don't need to tell you too much, but here's a reminder how you can interact with us. Remember, there is a panel session towards the end of this event and the launch. And if you want to ask us questions, and we urge you to, please use the Q&A icon at the bottom of your screen. I stress Q&A icon, question and answer, not the chat icon. We will be keeping an eye on that, of course, and we will be putting those questions that you raise to the panel at the end. If you want to promote a particular question without asking one yourself, use the thumbs up icon and it'll rise to the top of the screen. Those of you who are watching the live YouTube stream, please comment to raise a question. Now, we will try our best to deal with every question raised, but we can't absolutely guarantee that because there's only a limited amount of time available. But what we might do is group a few together or find some common strands between questions and put those to you. But what we can assure you with is that we will answer every question after the event, but it might take us a week or two. So you won't be forgotten. You will get answers to your questions. So that administration bit of this aside, first of all, then it gives me great pleasure to hand over to the Lord Whitty, Chairman of the Road Safety Foundation, to make the opening address. Lord Whitty, over to you.
Well, thanks very much, Tony, and good morning, everybody. Thanks a lot for joining us in pretty large numbers. They're still coming in. Again, of course, we find ourselves meeting virtually. And we all hope that by this time next year we'll be able to meet in person again. But there are benefits of a virtual meeting in that we can extend a warm welcome to more of you from across Great Britain, but also to colleagues from all over the world. So welcome everybody. As you know, last year the United Nations declared the decade 2021 to 2030 the second decade of action for road safety. And the Sustainable Development Goal to halve road deaths within a decade was renewed. However, as we all know, the first year of the decade was far from normal. The pandemic struck, we all experienced our first lockdowns, and during the initial lockdown in the UK, traffic reduced by around 60%. And although traffic had not recovered quite to the pre-pandemic levels by the end of last year, it had come close to it at about 80% of normal levels. And it's noticeable that throughout the year, casualties closely tracked the traffic levels. So on the one hand, happily, fewer people lost their lives or were seriously injured on our roads than recently, but that was due to very episodic situations. Today, we launched the 2021 British EuroRAP crash risk mapping and performance tracking results. We'll have to find a snappier title, I think, for the next one. I'm grateful to Ageas for their continued support that makes this annual report possible and the annual event that surrounds it possible. And we'll be hearing from Ageas shortly. So let me just recap on what we include in our analyses. The EuroRAP network in Great Britain comprises almost all motorways and A roads, some 53,000 kilometres of road. The network contains nearly 4,000 sections for which crash and traffic data are analysed over a period of 6 years, in this case from 2014 to 2019. Over that time, Britain has suffered more than 10,000 road deaths and almost 200,000 serious injuries. The network focuses on where deaths and serious injuries are concentrated, which is less than 15% of the total road network in Great Britain, on which almost 60% of all road deaths occur. The way we analyse the data gives us a unique insight into the performance of different road networks. England's strategic road network is one of the safest in the world and has the lowest crash rate of all our roads in Great Britain. Highways England commitment for there to be zero harm on its roads by 2040 is very welcome, along with the casualty targets and performance indicator that they have set to guide their progress along that path. Although it is the safest of our networks, however, there are still many routes that could benefit from investment in road safety measures. And the level of investment needed to make significant contribution towards 2040 goals is also in excess of the current level of safety funding from the government and local government. In Scotland, a new framework to 2030 has been developed and much progress has been made in recent years. Scotland has set formal casualty reduction targets and, much more importantly, it's established the detailed partnerships to deliver them. Wales is reviewing its current road safety framework and will look towards developing a new road safety framework. The Welsh Government will also soon embark on an EuroRAP survey of all strategic roads in Wales. Scotland's government, like that in Wales, manages a more extensive major road network of motorways and trunk roads from the centre. The government in England too has now proposed a new major road network to complement the sparse strategic road network run by Highways England itself. The analysis in the report highlights the relatively poor performance of what is now the major road network in England, which comprises the most important local authority roads and it presents a significant opportunity to invest in safety and to save lives. However, I have to say that now there is a real uncertainty about how improvements in the major road network will be funded and whether safety will feature at all, and if so, how significantly. The government's first Safer Roads Fund supported a portfolio of 49 schemes against 30 local authorities, across 30 local authorities. The fund and the expenditure demonstrated that these schemes can be quick to shovel and offer very good returns in terms of safety. Today's report demonstrates investment packages for all the networks analysed, showing how these can offer substantive safety returns, and ministers could sequence schemes so as to support the levelling up agenda if they so chose. Roads need investment to be fit for 2030, not only to support safer road travel for vehicles, but also to ensure safer active travel for pedestrians and cyclists. In a minute, Brian Norton, the charity's Research and Programmes Manager, will present the details of the report. After that, Susie Sharman will comment in more detail on the investment opportunity. After this, we are pleased to welcome Baroness Veer, Minister of Roads, Buses and Places, to give her a full title, for her address, and we very much welcome her here and are pleased that she could make it and take such an interest in our work. But before we move on to those speakers, I would like to ask Ant Middle, who is Ageas' Chief Executive Officer, to make some remarks from his perspective. We're all very thankful to Ageas for their commitment to this work and the way in which they work in partnership with us to deliver it. Ant is unable to attend in person, but he has recorded a brief message for all of us. Over to you, Ant.
Thanks, Lord Whitty, for your kind introduction. As I reflect on the latest results from this valuable research by the Road Safety Foundation, I do so with two hats on. One as the CEO of a major motor insurer, keen to provide our millions of customers with the peace of mind that they can travel safely. And two, as a dad of two daughters who are using the roads more, enthusiastically seeking their independence and freedom, but with me wanting to do all I can to ensure they're as safe as possible as they gain experience of driving. So I welcome the great work that is evidenced by this report and see today as an opportunity to celebrate the successful investment in some of the country's riskier roads, which has potentially saved hundreds of lives and heartache. It's also an excellent time to recognise what we can achieve when we work together and remember the work we still need to do. This year, 26 A roads and motorways made it to the list of significantly improved routes in the annual Road Safety Foundation report. It's a statistic in which many people in many agencies can take pride. So I'd like to congratulate all those involved, the local authorities, Highways England, and the Road Safety Foundation who made this happen. You've proven how a range of physical changes could make roads safe and fit for use, and that working together across various disciplines really does save lives. Across Britain, serious crashes fell from 557 to 187. That's a dramatic drop of 2/3, or a reduction of 370 individual tragedies. It's not surprising to see that the most common types of crash are head-on collisions, vehicles leaving the road and colliding with stationary objects, intersection crashes, and sadly, hitting vulnerable road users like cyclists and pedestrians. When you look closely at the data, you can see that even relatively modest changes, such as signal controls and pedestrian crossing points, can still make a significant difference. The measures taken are relatively simple in many cases. They range from cross-hatching that separates opposing lanes of traffic on undivided roads, to designing roundabouts so they curve as you enter, forcing you to slow down. The compelling data in this report proves the success of physical improvement measures like these on Britain's roads. So I'm sure you'll agree that we must not slip back now to the state of acceptance we had previously. The pandemic changed our lives, and combined with the increased focus on the environment, we're being forced to think more about the way we travel. This has caused a clear hiatus in the number of road deaths and serious injuries during the lockdowns and travel restrictions. And as life returns to a new kind of normal, and with more people using the roads in Britain as a result of the Great Staycation, we have the opportunity to reflect on the positive actions we can take and ensure we don't go back to pre-pandemic levels of road incidents. We've had more than enough heartache and loss due to the pandemic. We don't want thousands of people putting themselves in harm's way when using the remaining persistently dangerous roads every day. So while it's good news that 26 routes have significantly improved, there is still work to do. There are still, for example, 37 persistently higher risk rural routes. Moreover, the DFT's Safer Road Fund is treating only 100 kilometres in the 850 kilometres they represent. So please join us as we add our voice to the Road Safety Foundation in calling again for further substantial investment in our country's roads that continue to reduce severe crashes and individual tragedies. It's only by building back safer with a better transport infrastructure that we will bring our eventual goal of 0 deaths on Britain's roads closer. Thank you.